Shiru was an ugly loser who lost his job and will to live after a girl framed him for being a molester. But when he gets a chance to go to another world, he sacrifices his looks and ability to touch girls in exchange of absolute power that turns him into a god. Shiru was always ugly, but he was never a bastard. He was a regular office worker who did not let his ugly appearance stop him from being an upright human and living his life to the fullest. He treated everyone with respect and had a modest social life, but everything changed when a woman falsely accused him of touching her on a train. No one believed him just because he was ugly, and the matter soon went to court. Shiru pleaded guilty to pay a small fine and get out of it quickly. But his plan backfired, and he was kicked out of his job for being a certified molester. However, a few years later, the woman who falsely accused him was arrested for running a scam. She was not even in it for money, and framed the man she found ugly on purpose. Shiru was furious, but he could not do anything about it because of the trauma he faced from the incident. He lost his confidence and he could not find a job. Things got worse as time passed, and Shiru became a jobless shut-in. He ate through his savings and even his parents' money when one day he reads an article about people going missing in his area. He wishes he would disappear too. But as he reads the comments under the article, he finds a guy who claims that he visited another world. He says that he messed up by distributing his stat points wrong at the beginning and had to return back to Earth by sacrificing half his life. Shiru laughs at this, but he is too desperate and decides to follow the instructions left by the guy. He faces towards the windows with his arms raised, and then as the clock hits 2, his laptop screen changes by itself, asking him if he wants to start a new life. Shiru thinks it is just a virus, but he plays along, clicking next on the page. The next page shows him that he would be 16 years old in the new life, and he could alter how many points he would put into his looks. Having been an ugly man all his life, Shiru drops the value from 5 to 255, and that gives him a huge amount of bonus stat points. Not only that, Shiru finds that the more negative features he chooses for himself, the more stat points he gets. He immediately begins typing things that no one else would want, like getting his income reduced by 10,000%. And losing 10% of his HP every time he touches a girl. As for his final condition, he writes that if he ever loses his V-card, he loses his life, and the system gives him 100 bonus stat points in return. However, before Shiru can distribute those points to his stats, the timer reaches 0 and he is sent to another world. When he wakes up, he finds that he has become more ugly than he was in his previous life. And on top of that, he is twice as heavy as the average American. Just then, more people arrive there, and Shiru gets shy on seeing the two girls in their underwear. The handsome guy takes off his shirt and gives it to one of the girls shivering from cold, and Shiru tries to be a gentleman and does the same thing. However, the other girl refuses him because she does not want something worn by an ugly fatso. Anyway, the handsome guy introduces himself as C. The blonde loli does not share her name, and the second girl introduces herself as Seika. All of them are 16, and they find it hard to believe that Shiru is the same age as them. C takes the lead and confirms that all of them came to this world following the same method. But while they talk, Shiru decides to search the room. Because he is not here to make friends, he opens a drawer and finds a gold coin in it, which disappears just as he touches it. He realizes that since he put the condition to reduce his income, the money vanished, but decides not to worry too much about it. Just then, C comes inside and tells Shiru that they should look for resources together. Soon, they find a bunch of weapons and clothes, as well as some coins. Shiru does not think that the tiny clothes would fit him, but they turn out to be magical and adjust to everyone's body. Next, the girls decide to divide the money amongst them, but they point out that there are only 7 coins and 8 people here. They believe that Shu stole the 8th coin, and he realizes that they are right. He decides to let them have all the coins to themselves. And even though Sei tells him that it is unfair, Seika tells him that they should keep the coins because Shiru did not even help in finding them. Shairu hates the spoiled already, but he decides to ignore her and deal with C, asking if he can have the axe in exchange for the money. Seika is against that, and even Sage says that he can't take those decisions alone. He reveals that in his original life, he was selfish and had communication issues, and he is trying hard to be different in this life. He points out that Shiru seems to have some issues himself as well, and he should try to get over them. In the end, they decide to divide the weapons with rock, paper, scissors, and Shiru loses to everyone, getting only the wooden club as his weapon. Next, C says that they should shake hands to mark the start of their adventure. But Shiru refuses because he is not taking any risks this time. Soon, they find a map and decide to head to the nearest town. But as soon as they open the door, they find a small goblin ready to attack them. Sai quickly takes action and kills the goblin with a single strike, but then he finds that more of them are heading this way. He takes the lead, telling the blonde loli to support him on the front lines, while Seika strings her bow to join the fight. He asks Shairu to protect Seika in the meantime, and then starts defeating the goblins one by one. Seika, however, is a total noob who can't even string a bow. And while Shairu is judging him, a goblin attacks him from behind. He decides to finish it off in one hit, but he finds that he is ridiculously weak right now. The small goblin is able to push him back, and when Shairu wonders, how can he so weak, despite having 100 stat points, he realizes that he ran out of time before he could distribute them. He then decides to fight back against the goblin with his current stats and manages to defeat it with his next strike. Suddenly, a status window opens in front of him, and he finds that killing just one goblin makes him reach level 32 because he has a 1000% XP increase bonus. Just then, Sagai and the loli also level up, and they assign their stat points to strength and stamina. Shairu realizes that they can't see each other's system window, and he decides to put 1 trillion points in each of his attributes for now. Just as he does that, his system window starts to glitch, and a golden light shines on him. Shairu wonders what is happening, and then his system reveals that his class has been decided based on his stats. His class is the Almighty God, and Shairu can't fully grasp what that means. He is snapped out of his thoughts as a goblin starts hitting him, but his attacks do not do any damage at all. Shairu decides to try out his strength against the goblin, and he hits it with a finger flick, which is enough to send it flying to the stratosphere. No one else sees what just happened, and they think that it was just a gust of wind. C and the loli resume hunting the goblins, but Seika is still struggling with getting her bow ready. She gets teary-eyed, and Shairu decides to have pity on her. He acts like he is a bow maniac and needs to string one immediately so that Seika does not feel bad about taking his help, and his trick works on the stupid girl. She hands the bow to Shairu, who uses his 1 trillion dexterity points to string the bow in one fell swoop. Seika is impressed and insists that he shoot 1 arrow as a thanks, and Shairu decides to try one of the skills he got along with his class. He selects the thunder arrow skill and then launches the arrow ahead, but instead of hitting any goblin, it flies towards the sky instead. Shairu wonders if his accuracy is that bad, but then suddenly a gigantic magic circle appears in the sky and a majestic thunder dragon comes out of it, hitting the ground and killing all the goblins. Everyone is shocked to see this, but Shairu just says that he was in the archery club where they teach this type of stuff. Seika believes him once again and then decides to support her friends in the battle, but she just randomly fires arrows even without aiming. Sai and the loli decide that they should handle the rest of the goblins as well, and Seika soon runs out of arrows. She gets gloomy and disappointed at her uselessness, and Shairu pies her yet again. He uses a skill to turn a stick into more arrows, and tells her that there are some item drops on the ground. Seika gets happy to find them, but she wastes them all again anyway, and in the meantime, the other two finish off all the goblins. Soon after that, they reach the town, and while everyone else rushes to eat something, Shairu decides to go his separate ways because an ugly loser like him needs to be alone. He sits near a fountain and realizes that he is hungry too, and just then, a cat arrives there. He is about to pet it, but stops fearing that she might be a female, and he may lose 10% HP if he touches it. Just then, Seika arrives there, and Shiro is so startled that he falls into water. After he gets out, Seika tells him that she bought a burger for him because she knows he is broke, and she wanted to thank him for helping her earlier. Shiro begins to see her in a more positive light, and accepts the huge burger, but coincidentally, their fingers touch, and he gets a powerful shock that makes him throw the burger away. He suffers 58 damage, which is enough to destroy the world 300 times over. But the bigger problem is that Seika is upset now, because she thinks that Shiro threw away the burger on purpose. However, he has his skills from the days when he was a top salesman, and he tells Seika that he was startled because she is too beautiful. He tells her that he will eat the burger she bought for him, and she tells him that it is too dirty. She offers him the one she bought for herself instead, because she is really grateful to him, and he decides to accept her gratitude. As he eats the burger, C and the loli find them, and Shiro decides to stick around till he pays Seika for the burger. Soon after that, Seika heads to a store to buy some arrows because she runs out of them so quickly. She keeps asking the shopkeeper for more arrows, claiming that she is rich enough to pay for them. But the man tells her that her bag is already full. Shiro is also with her, and he wants to help her out, but he can't tell her that he can create arrows anytime he wants. Anyway, Seika asks him if he is not going to buy anything, and she immediately answers her question, realizing that he can't buy anything because he is broke. Once they head outside, Sai and the loli return after finding a good inn to stay at night. Shiro says that he will stay in the park because obviously he has no money, but Seika says that she will pay for his room. Shiro tries to tell her that there is no need for that, but Seika plays the woman card and asks if he does not want a girl to pay for his room. Shiro is not even given the time to reply, as Seika grabs his hand and starts dragging him along. But since she touches him through the clothes, he does not take any damage. Later that night, Shiro thinks that he can't stay here any longer because then he will be under more debt to Saka and others. The next day, Sai and others wake up to find some delicious cookies and food waiting on the table for them. Shiro tells them to help him because he can't eat it all, and they ask, how did he get all that when he does not have any money? Shiro replies that he used a technique that makes people want to give him something in return. However, he just created some arrows using sticks and used the barter system to sell them for food instead of money. Seika tells him that he does not need to beg just because he's broke, because she can always help him out. Well, Shiro thinks that he has repaid his debt to her, so he does not need to stick around any longer. Once they are done eating, Sai pulls out the map and says that they need to start going on quests so that they can earn some money. He has noticed that the monsters they fought yesterday did not drop any money or loot, so he is planning to check out a cave nearby. Shiro is impressed by Seiya's decision-making abilities when suddenly a rugged man arrives there, saying that he can be his guide to the cave. The man introduces himself as Kayoshiro and claims to be reincarnated just like them. He freaks out a bit on seeing Shiro's ugly mug, but then asks if they are all new here. She immediately gets up to talk to him while keeping his guard up, and then Kayosh pulls out some green cards from his pocket, saying that it is an item they find at the first log house and they can get a full discount at the inn using it once. Seika panics on hearing this because they did not find the cards, and Kayo tells her that she can get a full refund even if she shows the cards now. He tells her to take them, and Seika immediately takes the cards, much to Seiya's disbelief, because he still does not trust Kaijo fully yet. Shu is the same, and he thinks that rather than being a guy, Kayoshiro is someone who exploits newbies. He thinks that he can handle the situation if things go bad, and for now, he decides to let C make the decision. Sai weighs the pros and cons of the situation and decides to hire Kayohiro to guide them in the end because they need information and ways to level up quickly. With that, Kaokyo leads the group to the cave, and soon a bunch of goblins arrive there. Seika immediately starts firing arrows at them, but none of them actually hit. Shiro is disappointed, and Kaosho tells Seika to think that her arrows are worth 1,000,000 yen before firing. Even though she is proud of her wealth, imagining the high cost makes Seika more careful with her aim, and she is able to take down a goblin with a precise strike. They move ahead after that, and Shiro is surprised that Kayoshiro is actually doing a good job as a guide. After that, Kayoshu guides everyone on how to use their weapon properly, and Seeker relapses into her old habit of shooting arrows mindlessly. Kayoshu asks Shiro if he is not going to practice, and he replies that he does not have any suitable skills right now. Kyoshi gets that it is hard to level up with staff as his weapon, but he asks Shiro not to be disappointed because the ultimate skill of the staff is really awesome. Shiro already knows this because when he went to the forest to make arrows, he encountered a giant oak and decided to try his strongest skill against it. However, the system warned him that if he used that skill, everything within a radius of 200 kilometers would be wiped out and over 1.5 million people would die. Anyway, Kaokyo tells him to be active on the battlefield, or he will be forced to retire just like him. He begins telling the story of how he used to be in a mercenary group, but while their leader became a king, he fell off and had to retire. He begins praising the king, saying that he is at level 80 and all his stats are over 160, but that is incredibly weak for Shiro. After that, they finally reach the cave, which looks like ancient ruins, and everyone is excited to explore them. But Seika is scared. However, once she reaches the cave, she gets curious about the limestone spikes and starts sulking when Kaisho tells her to stay away because they are dangerous. Shu wonders if Seika is actually a kid, and Sai asks her the question in a more sensible manner. He first reveals that he was 30 years old in the other world, and then Seika says that she is 17 years old in real life and preparing for college. While Sagi begins talking about her studies, Shiro realizes that Seika is at least academically smart. After that, they fight against some monster bats and reach the boss room, and Seika finally learns about thinking before taking an action. Kaoshiro tells her that she should not enter the boss room because she will die immediately at this rate, and Saka backs away. She decides to call it a day and thanks Kayoshiro for his help, and he replies that he will make a good leader. However, before returning, he has a special event for the newbies, and he leads them to a conference room to throw a party for them. He says that another summoned person created this safe space where no monster or magic can reach, and inside there are chips and drinks. Shiro immediately uses his poison detection skills and finds that the rims of the cans have been spiked with a sleeping drug. Luckily, Sai is cautious enough to turn down the offer. But when Kaosh acts sad and depressed, he apologizes for doubting his sincerity. He agrees to celebrate with him, and Shiro is low-key disappointed by C's goodness. Anyway, everyone begins to eat and drink, and Shiro decides to distract them with a conversation so that he can cast antidote magic on them. He asks what they all did before coming here, and the vibe of the room quickly dies down. Shiro realizes immediately that everyone here ran from their previous lives, including himself, but then Sai decides to open up about his past a bit. He says that he left school after getting bored of everything and decided to start his own company called Success Life. Shiro remembers that he once went to that company to make a sales pitch and the CEO looked a lot like Sai. Turns out Sai remembers him as well because he made a big impact on him. And though he does not disclose his name, he reveals that a salesman came to him without an appointment and tried to sell him an expensive copier. He tried to bargain, but the salesman said that he would make him smile and never let him down. He also asked him to take it easy because he was the CEO, and, inspired by his words, said let his employees run the company. Luckily, his company made it big, and everything was going well. But then, he decided to replace his staff with AI, and that bankrupted his company. He became depressed and felt like he wasted the opportunity that the salesman had given him. That is why, when he came here, he swore that he would never let anyone down. He suddenly reveals that the salesman's name was Shiro too. But our fat guy pretends that he was not the salesman. Soon after that, everyone falls asleep as a result of the drugs, and Kayosho brings his gang of thugs to take them away. However, Shairu is only pretending to be asleep so that he can deal with the thugs when the chance comes. The thugs start handcuffing everyone, and just as Shairu is about to do something, C gets up, telling the thugs to not harm his party. Kaiso does not take him seriously because he knows that Sage can barely stand, and he tells his men to carry on with their work. Shairu can't use his abilities now because he does not want C to get caught in the crossfire. But luckily, Sage tries picking a fight with the thugs, only to get slammed at the wall. Kaokyo tells his men to not hurt their products because that will reduce their value, and Sai gets mad at hearing this. He says that the people who come here have already been broken by life, and when they get a second chance, people like him push them down. Cairo tells him to lecture someone who will listen, and tells his men to pack him up. Shairu decides that it is his time to join the fight, and he simply jumps upon the bandits, squishing them under his weight instead of using his attack stats. He tells C to take the girls and run away, leaving everything to him. But Sai refuses to leave him in danger alone. He tells the bandits not to mess with them because he can take them down in one hit. The bandits dash towards him, but Shairu decides to intercept them by bouncing around, absorbing their weak-ass punches and crushing them under his weight. Kyosho tells his men to deal with the jumping pig first, and C asks him to run away because he will handle it. The thugs jump Shairu, even though they do not really do any damage, but then one of them puts his fingers up his nostrils. Suddenly, a bright light starts coming out from C's hand as he tells the bandits to back away before his light of truth pierces their evil hearts. They're taken aback and ask what is that skill. And Sai explains that he made an oath in his special note that he will never let his friends down, and if he ever does that, he will pay the price for it. Because of that oath, he received a lot of bonus points, and he put them in his special skill that activates when he is angry. He tells the bandits that this is their last chance to run away, but Kyosho says that they will just chop off his hand before he can attack them. Shu decides to see what C's attack can do, and he becomes a shield for him, telling him that they need to work together because they are outnumbered. C then uses his special skill to transform into a Super Saiyan form that even Goku has not unlocked yet, telling the thugs that they will pay for their sins now. Kaokyo Shiro and his men panic because they have not seen anyone transform like this before, and Shiro is quite curious to see what Super Saiyan C can do. C suddenly screams out the name of his next attack, and his hand starts growing even brighter. He then dashes ahead towards Kyoshiro, but stops just short of punching him in the face. Kyosho asks him why the hell did he stop, and Sage says that he is not the one to judge him, because that is for the law of this country. He knows that he can easily destroy the bandits right now, but he wants to give them a chance to repent for their sins and start a fresh life. Shairu knows that this is as dumb as someone can get while trying to be a lawful good person, but he does not try to stop C. Suddenly, Caillou tells Sei that he wins. He puts his weapon down and kneels before accepting his punishment, and the naive Sai believes him. He begins walking away, telling Kyoshiro that he won't forgive him if he commits another crime. Shairu does not warn him this time as well, even though he knows that he is making the worst mistake by turning his back towards the enemy. Using this chance, Kyosha rushes to attack Sage, but Shairu trips him using his rolling technique. The bandits curse Shairu and start kicking him, but their attacks do not do any damage. Shiro casually removes a booger from his nose and flicks it towards the wall, creating a huge explosion. While everyone stares at the destroyed wall in shock, Shiro sneakily points C's glowing fist towards the wall to make them believe that he did it. However, the problem is that even Sage can't believe that, and Shairu decides to step up his game. He says that he clearly saw Sage execute his ultimate move, and a white hawk descended from heaven blowing up the wall. The bandits totally believe this story. Even before C himself is convinced, they fall to their knees on realizing that they can't win, and Kyohiro has tears and snot running down his face as he swears that he won't do bad things ever again. Shairu realizes that this is not enough to punish them, and he orders the bandits to get in a line. They immediately obey, and then Shairu asks C to hit them with his special attack. C hesitates because he does not want to punish someone who has already accepted defeat. The bandits are also terrified because they think they will die if they get hit by that attack. So Shairu comes up with a middle ground, telling C to slap those bastards with his righteous fist so that they know the pain of others. He manages to convince C back that he is the only one who can turn these bandits on the right path with the power of love. He remembers that Sai claimed that his glowing fist can pierce all evil, and if the bandits are still acting, they will be destroyed by his slap. However, if they really have had a change of heart, they will be unharmed. However, to his shock, Siji turns back into his normal form, saying that if he wants to change the heart of the bandits through the power of love, he can't do it using his Super Saiyan form that is fueled by anger. The bandits can't believe that someone can be this stupid, but it all works out in their favor anyway. She has tears in his eyes as he slaps them with love, and the bandits thank him for giving them a chance after being slapped. Once everyone has been slapped, Shairu ties up the bandits while C carries the girls to safety. However, he is too exhausted to finish the job and collapses. The bandits suddenly get hopeful that they can win against him now, and they try to bribe Shairu to join their side. They promise to bring some woman who will do it, even with an ugly bastard like him, and on top of that, they will pay him more. However, Shairu decides to show them that he is just ugly but not a bastard. He simply snaps his handcuffs to scare the bandits and then tells them that Sage is even stronger than him. The bandits can only curse him for turning down their offer, but Shairu does not really care about their comments. Soon, Kya and his men are turned into the local authorities, and Shairu and his party get a huge amount of money from collecting their bounties. The girls are really excited to see this much money, and Sai says that they should divide it amongst them. Sika says that they were unconscious, so they do not deserve any money, and CK should take it because he defeated the bandits. She then asks about Shairu, and C says that Shairu was even braver than him, and he tanked all the hits to keep him safe. The girls say that Shairu was the MVP of the mission in this case, and he should get the most money. C agrees with them. But Shairu does not want to take the money, because it will get reduced to 1% of the amount, so he tells Sai that he has a bad habit of spending money as soon as he gets it, and he wants someone trustworthy to hold on to it for him. Sai does not really go along with the plan, but when Shairu insists that he can't keep the money, Seika volunteers to handle his money on his behalf. Sai does not think that it is a good idea for someone as clueless and impulsive as her to handle the amount, but Shairu lets her take the money because it will help him repay his debt to her when he leaves the party. Soon after that, Seika takes C to the hamburger place to treat him to something nice, and he thinks that this is their last meal together, because now he can run off on his own without any guilt. Seika soon returns with 2 happy meals, and Shairu asks her if she loves hamburgers a lot. She tells him that she ate them for the first time 2 days ago and immediately fell in love, and Shairu can't believe that she never ate a burger in the real world. Anyway, they start eating, and Saika asks him about his stats. Shairu replies that they are pretty boring, and she tells him that he must have not noticed it, but lowering one's looks gives them a lot of stat points. Shairu is shocked to learn that Saika found that out too, and he asks her if she reduced her look points as well. She tells him that she lowered them to -16, and he can't believe it, because she looks too pretty for that. Seika proudly tells him that she used the special note feature on the welcome screen to wish to become pretty, and that somehow overwrote her low-look stats. Shairu gets the greatest shock of his life on realizing that he could have done that and become handsome as well. But it is too late for that now. Just then, Seika notices a cat and eagerly says that she has never seen one up close. She begins wondering if there is any chance the cat can come here, and when Shairu tells her to just go there to pet it, she gives him a judgmental stare. However, she immediately realizes that his advice makes sense and says that she forgot she could walk now. She then rushes towards the cat clumsily, and Shairu realizes her deal. While she tries to pet the cat, Shairu goes to the washroom and starts crying, thinking about Seika's rough life. He now realizes that in the real world, she must be suffering from some condition. that left her paralyzed at a young age. He pies her and asks if there is no God, when suddenly he realizes that he is the Almighty God in this world, and he might not be able to change reality, but he can help her out in other ways. Just then, Seika knocks at the door, asking if he needs medicine, and Shairu tells her that he is fine. As he freshens up, he realizes that Seika is clumsy with her body and naive while interacting with others because of her past, and that will make her an easy target for villains. So he decides to stick with her and keep her safe till she becomes a fully competent adult. Soon after that, they reach the inn, and Sai calls a meeting to decide their job class so that they can become a more dynamic party. He declares that he will become the hero, Seika will become an archer, the blonde, Loli will become a mage, and Shairu will become an epic fighter. Shairu does not like adding the adjective epic in his job class for some reason. Seika suddenly speaks up, saying that she wants to be a hero too, but when Shairu tells her that she can become the epic fighter in his place, she immediately refuses. In the end, C remains the only hero of the group, so Seika becomes a mage instead, and the lowly decides to become a hunter, while Shairu also retains his job class. Once they purchase their new gear, SI decides to move to the largest city in the region. But before that, he sets up a budget for snacks, keeping Seika's spending habits in mind. With that, the meeting is dismissed, but Seika stays behind to talk to the lowly, who is her first friend here. She is nervous to talk to her, but Shiryu silently wishes her all the best. Seika finally manages to gather the courage to ask her to play jump rope with her, saying that she has practiced for it. The lowly agrees, and the two girls head to change their clothes so that they can play. Meanwhile, Shiryu recalls how things turned out this way. Earlier, as he went shopping with Seika, she wanted to buy a cool-looking weapon, but he discouraged her from buying anything dangerous by saying only epic fighters use them. However, she got stuck on buying a nunchuk, but thanks to an unexpected collaboration between Shairu and the shopkeeper, she changed her choice to a skipping rope instead. Once they left the shop, Shairu taught her how to use the rope, and she quickly caught up. However, her mind soon wandered off to the blonde girl and how she wanted to be friends with her, despite not knowing her name. Shairu suggested a few ways to become friends with her, and that leads him to the present, where he is spying on the two girls as they play. The blonde girl quickly learns to skip rope from Seika, but when she brings up the topic of her name, she suddenly stops. Seika realizes that she really does not want to share her name, and then says that she discussed it with Shayu earlier, and they came up with the nickname Ri for her. The blonde lowly goes completely silent on hearing this, and starts skipping rope again, jumping really high at the end. Everyone is surprised by this, and soon a huge crowd swarms her, asking her to join their party. Seika tries to reach closer to her, but everyone ignores her, and a guy even pushes her. She suddenly starts crying, and Shairu has no choice but to go ahead and help her. The people freak out on seeing him and call him a monster. But the blonde girl Ri tells them that he is a member of their party. She is worried about Seika too, and says that she just wanted to make her happy by showing her a trick, and Shairu tells her that simply responding would have done a better job. Ri starts feeling really guilty about that and runs away crying, and in the end, Shairu has to console Seika all the way back to the inn. However, as soon as she is about to enter her room, she finds a letter from Ri, apologizing for earlier and thanking her for the nickname. Seika immediately runs out to look for her, but Shairu had already noticed Ri hiding behind the corner. He asks her to come out, and she tells him that she needs to talk to him in private. He asks her not to sue him later, and then goes into the room where Ri does a flying gravel to apologize to him. He gets confused about why she is apologizing to him, but then Ri reveals that she knows his full legal name, as well as the fact that he was the salesman that I was talking about. Shairu is taken back by this, but he still keeps up the act. Asking Ri why she thinks that, she tells him that she chose the special ability to read other people's status windows, and she can see their real name, their stats, as well as the things they wrote in the special note. Shairu panics on realizing that she has read his notes that make him look like a frustrated incel, and he face palms as he asks Ri what she wants. She tells him that it concerns Seika and asks Shairu if he has figured out that her body was paralyzed in the previous life. He affirms and then Ri suddenly reveals that it was her who broke Seika in the past life, and she is here to atone for her sins. Jiro is curious about it and asks what did she do to Seika. Ri replies that in her past life, she was a part of a program that aimed to change people's lives. Seika was one of the children they were working with, and she genuinely wanted her to live a better life. However, an explosion happened at their building one day, and Saka got severely injured in that. Ri starts crying as she says that she failed to prevent the accident and save Seika. She regretted the incident that happened because of misunderstandings between the people who worked there, and to avoid things like that, she wrote in her special notes that she wanted to know people better. Shu understands that this is the reason Ri got the power to look at other people's status. He asks her about the program she was in, and she tells him that it had to do with artificial intelligence. Her story immediately reminds Sheru that Sage's company went bankrupt because of an AI program that failed because of an explosion, and he asks Ri if she is talking about that. She affirms, revealing that she is actually Sia's sister, but she has completely changed her behavior and personality here, so he won't figure her out. Shiru still has his doubts about her story, but Ri tells him that she can't lie because that was the cost of obtaining her special ability. She feels that they are coming to this world at the same time is not a coincidence, and their fates were connected in the previous life as well. She knows that Shiru is trying to make Seka happy and to guide Sage to become a better adventurer, and she requests him to let her assist him with that. Shiru tells her that both Si and Seka are too pure-hearted, and they need his support to stay safe in this world. He agrees to work with Ri, and she pulls a Sakira on him, chopping her hair to show her determination. Shiru is confused because there was no freaking point in doing that, and Ri tells him that Si said that she looks good with short hair. Anyway, they formally form a pact with that, so that they can help their other two friends. The next morning, they get ready to depart to the capital city, and Shiru arranges a weird turtle-goat hybrid creature that will carry their luggage. Ri is the last one to arrive, and she is moved to tears when Seika tells her that she looks good with short hair. They start their journey with that, and soon run into a bunch of monsters. Seika takes one of them down using ice magic, and when another monster attacks her, Sai protects her while Ri covers their back. They quickly deal with the monsters, and Seika flexes her talent as a magician to Shiru, who can only nod that she is good. Sai then remarks that since the sun is setting, they should find a place to set up camp, and everyone agrees. They are heading to the city of Valeria, and because Seika wanted adventure, they chose to climb through the mountains that are full of dangerous monsters, and also have no inns to stay at. Luckily, they find a hollow tree trunk, where they can rest at night, and Seika is really excited about it. Si asks if she would like to collect firewood or go fishing, and Seika confidently declares that she will catch the biggest fish in the river, but she clumsily hooks her own rope first. Shiru manages to unhook her and then takes her fishing, but they can only wait for the fish to take the bait. Suddenly, Seika begins talking about how she is a crybaby and she wants to become more mature and collected. Shiru tells her that there is actually no need for that, because crying is not a bad thing. He tells her that people do not cry just because they are sad, but also when their hearts are filled with other emotions that they can't control. He remembers his past as he says that people gradually lose the ability to cry, and that stops them from growing stronger. He tells Seika that instead of learning how to not cry, she should learn to find out what moved her heart. Seika is moved to tears on hearing this as well. Just then, Ri arrives there, and on learning that they have not caught anything yet, she simply shoots some fish in the river and then hands them over to Seika. She eagerly runs to the campsite to give them to Si, and in the meantime, Ri says that Seika always looks happy when she is with Shiru. She believes that he is a person who can make others smile easily, and the party will be safe in more ways than one with him here. Shiru is flustered at this, but then he decides to head back. Ri stops him and requests him not to reveal her identity to anyone, because that may split their group apart, and he agrees to her request. Soon they reach the camp, where Si and Seika have already started cooking. As they sit down to eat, Seika copies Rei's mannerism, while Shiru asks Si what does he think about their journey's end goal. Sai gets serious on hearing this and replies that they have no end goal right now. Reaching Valeria is their immediate goal, and Sai plans to learn more about this world and its problems so that he can figure out what they need to do. Shairu is impressed by his logical thinking when suddenly he hears a sound coming from the bushes. A severely wounded and exhausted woman comes out of the forest and collapses right as Shairu's party notices her. In her dreams, the woman thinks about how she was running from some bandits earlier. Despite being a person who reincarnated into this world, she could not fight against them, and she blamed her special notes for that. In her past life, she used to be low-key ugly, and her boyfriend dumped her for a pretty girl. Everyone in her social circle constantly mocked her, and the woman started hating pretty girls because of that. Suddenly her dream ends, and she finds herself in the campsite with Sage looking after her. He tells her that they have cleaned her wounds and applied first aid. Just then, Seika comes there with some warm water to clean her up, and the woman flinches because she hates how pretty she looks. C tells her that Seika was the one who cast healing magic on her, but that does not change the woman's attitude either. She gets even more irritated when Seika tries to talk to her and asks Sage to take her closer to the fire. Seika is upset by that, but Shairu wants her to learn that she should not try to invade a stranger's personal space right after she meets them. Moreover, he wants her to stay away from the one-armed woman, because he knows the truth about her. Earlier, when the woman collapsed, C asked him to bring some water. Shairu rushed to the river, but Ri stopped him, and the look on her face told him that something was wrong. She told him that the woman was a reincarnator like them, and her special note was rather dangerous. She had written that she would never forgive pretty girls and kill them brutally, and both of them thought that she was definitely targeting Seika. Back to the present, Sage comforts the woman who introduces herself as Ria. He asks if she wants some food, and she gladly agrees, but as Seika offers her a bowl, the hatred inside starts spilling out. Ria tries reaching for her weapon, but thankfully Ri had already taken it away, and currently she is keeping an eye on her at all times. Shairu also keeps watching Ria to stop her if she does something nasty. But Sai and Seika have no clue about that. C asks Ria how she got injured, and she tells him that some people ambushed their party, and she got separated from her friends. Shairu wonders how much of that story is true. But Sai believes the woman and offers to protect her till they reach Valeria. She is glad to take that offer, but as Seika tells him to trust their party leader, she gets worked up yet again and hurts her injured arm. C asks her to relax, but Ria tells him that she needs to go to the river. She asks Seika to take her there, and C tells her that he will do it instead. Ria says that she was actually planning to take a bath there, and he must be a real pervert if he wants to spy on her. C gets flustered, and then Seika innocently asks him if he is a pervert. He gets knocked out due to emotional damage, and as Shairu gets up to comfort him, Ria tells him that if he even comes within 6 foot of her, she will scream. He tells her that he does not want to get close to her either. Suddenly, Ri comes there and offers to take her to the river, but because she can't lie, she can't hide her true expressions either. She wishes that she at least hid her murderous intent, because that scares Ria, and she insists on Seika taking her to the river. Seika has no problem, and she even returns her weapon in case they are attacked by monsters. Shairu panics because that will put her in even greater danger, but Ri follows them to keep Seika safe. Shairu also starts going after them, but Sheiji stops him, saying that he should respect women's privacy. He replies that Ria is dangerous, and C admits that the charm of an adult woman is indeed dangerous. Shu does not want a load of his simple, but he still can't go away without creating suspicions. So he starts jumping between the two locations at light speed to keep an eye on Seika. Seika is astonished when he sees him looking blurry, but Shairu says that he must be tired and seeing things. He tells him to get some rest, and then uses the sleep spell on him, quickly knocking him out. He then goes to the riverside and watches over Ria, who suddenly points her sword at Seika. Seika is shocked to see this, and asks her if she did anything to offend her. Ria tells her that she did not do anything, and instead, she is a good girl. but she cannot disobey what she has written in her special notes. She tells Seika that she has sworn to kill all pretty girls because they ruined her life on Earth. So she swore to get revenge on them when she came to this world. She joined various adventure parties, killing the pretty girls, and then running off to the next party. But they eventually caught up to her. She tells Seika that it is her turn to die today, but just as she is about to strike her, Ri shoots her sword out of her hands. She pushes Ria back, and as she tries to grab her weapon, Shiru arrives there and grabs her hand. She tells him to let go of her, but he draws his sword, telling her that she can't run away now. Then suddenly, a bright light dazzles all of them. They wonder what is going on, and as they look towards the source of the light, they find that it is coming from Seika, who has transformed into a literal angel. Shiru is shocked to see that after Sage, they have another person in their group who can transform. Seika starts floating towards Ria, telling her that there is no need for any more suffering. Ria, on the other hand, threatens her to stay away if she does not want to die. But her severed arm starts hurting really bad, and she falls to the ground. Seika asks her if she wants to hurt people, and Ri replies that she does not, but she can't overcome what she has written in her special note. Shiru also pies the poor girl who has become the female Jeffrey Dahmer because of her special notes, but Seika believes that there must be some way to change things. She floats towards Ria, who slaps her hands away, but then Sik prays that she stops hurting. Suddenly, a burst of light is released from her hands, and Ria's severed hand instantly regenerates. She gets sentimental on seeing her arm again, and Shiru is shocked, because even after being the absolute god, he cannot do miracles like these. Seika suddenly reveals that she wrote in her special notes that if her friends are ever hurting, she wants to become an angel to heal them and help them get back what they lost. Ria starts crying as she realizes that Seika considers her a friend, and then Seika begins to talk about her past life. She says that she had a horrible scar on her face and had even lost one of her eyes, and she does not want anyone to go through similar things. She believes that she can't heal the emotional damage that Ria is suffering, but says that together they can find a way to cure that too. However, Ria tells her to get away from her, calling her ugly. She suddenly realizes the cure to her situation and tells Seika that her crying face looks ugly, which is why she is no longer her target. She runs away with that, leaving Seika confused and hurt. Ri decides to chase Ria to see what she does, and then Seika suddenly turns back to her normal form and collapses, but thankfully, Shiru is there to catch her. Meanwhile, Ria finds an isolated spot and carved something on a tree before she turns her sword towards her face. However, Shiru comes running just then and slaps the sword away from her hands, because R informed him that she was trying to blind herself so that her special notes do not work out anymore. Ria asks him if he is here to kill her, but Shiru tells her that he has not fallen so low. He tells Ria that if she injures her eyes, Seika will be sad, but he understands her reasons well. Therefore, he offers to make a deal with her, in which she will only lose her vision without losing her eyes. Ria asks how can he do that, and Shiru shows her the ultimate dark element skill called the 5-finger underworld seal that can seal away one of her 5 senses but make her even stronger in return. She asks him who the hell is he to have such powerful spells, and Shiru replies that he is a businessman running out of food. He tells her that this spell is the best thing he has to offer her because it will blind her without hurting her eyes. He then also tells her that the spell will last until it is offset by a powerful light element spell, so it will probably not be undone anytime soon. Ria asks him why the hell is he going so far, for Seika's sake, and her most obvious guess is that it is because she is pretty. Shiru tells her that he is not so shallow and reveals that he messed up his special notes a bit. He says that at first he could not trust anyone, not even his party, but Seiko was kind to him despite his ugly appearance, so he is just trying to repay the debt he owes her. Riera replies that it must be really nice to be in a good party, and Shiru offers her to join them because Sigileisha will accept her after hearing her circumstances. she refuses because she has already sinned too much and now she wants to carve out her own way. However, she accepts his deal of blinding her and Shairu quickly uses his skill on her. Later, he returns to Seika, who has finally woken up now. He tells her how her power regenerated Ria's arm, and she gets happy thinking that she can help a lot of people now. However, Shairu tells her that they should keep her power a secret because it is too valuable. She does not understand his reasoning, so he tells her that thieves steal valuable things in stories, and her ability falls in the same category. Seika gets a bit sad on hearing that, and then Shairu further strengthens his story by telling her that Ria tried to kill her because she is pretty. He says that she should protect herself from bad guys like that, and Seika asks what should she do. He tells her that she should not doubt everyone, but pay attention to their behavior and find if they are friends or enemies. Seika gets excited on hearing this, and then Shairu tells her that in case she runs into someone dangerous, even after being careful, she should loudly call for him, and he will come to help her instantly. He says that she can afford to fail once or twice because he will back her up, and she gets emotional on hearing that. She then stretches her hand towards him to seal their deal with a handshake, and despite knowing that he will take a huge amount of damage, Shairu takes her hand. He feels an intense pain because of that, but he tries his best to hold it back so that he does not crush her hand. The next day, Shairu tells C that Ria left last night, and she also left a message for Seika before going. He takes the entire party with him to the tree where Ria was carving out her message last night. In the message, she thanks Seika for healing her physical and emotional wounds and promises to help her if they ever meet again. Seika gets emotional on reading that, and C feels that they should have at least seen her off. But Shairu tells them that Ria was happy when she left, and she said she would find her own path. After that, they resumed their journey to the city of Valeria, and while C and Sulcus start talking about how excited they are to go to a new place, Ri remembers the conversation she had with Shairu last night. He told her how he took Ria's eyesight, so she would not attack girls from now on. And Ri was surprised. She was even more surprised by Seika's transformation, because her special notes did not mention anything like that. Meanwhile, C's special notes had a very detailed and even embarrassing explanation of his transformation process, and even remembering them made Ri shudder from terror. However, Shairu told her that he would need the full thing in writing because he wants to find out if C has any weakness that can become a liability in the future. Ri was mortified by this task, but accepted it anyway. Shairu told her that she could take her time with it because he wants the weaknesses only by the time C Prius made his decision. He reminded Ri about the time when C told them that he would see the world for himself before coming up with the goal of their journey. And Shairu has an idea about the best goal there is. He believed that C should become a king because from what the scammer Kaiohiro had told him, even people from the other world could become kings here. He told Ri that Seika is an innocent person who does not know anything about the real world, but C is someone who knows about the dark side of the world, but still retains his pure heart. He believed that having Sage rule a kingdom would really help innocent people like Seika. And Ri replied that Shairu could do that too. He told her that, with his reduced income rate, his country would be the poorest of the poor, and on top of that he is not cut out to be a leader. On the other hand, C has a charisma about him that makes people follow him, and he can lead them well in any situation. Back to the present, Shairu and Ri are a team with a separate goal from their remaining two party members. For starters, they want Sai and Seika to level up as much as possible, and that is not going to be difficult because there is a huge horde of monsters in front of them. Sai tells everyone that they will break through the monster horde and reach the city gate, but as they start running, he suddenly stops, saying that he needs to tie his shoelaces. Even though his shoe has as many laces as the number of zeros in my bank account, Seika believes him and runs ahead. Shairu follows her and uses a wind wall to protect her from running into the monsters, and then looks back to find Sage screaming like Goku to transform into his Super Saiyan angel form. Shairu thinks that the whole shoelace act was unnecessary for just this, but then he remembers that C's clothes get ripped each time he transforms, and they are not cheap. Luckily, Sai remembers this too, so he takes off the expensive clothes, folds them nicely, and then starts the whole screaming thing from scratch. In the meantime, Shiru comes up with a plan to help Saika level up too. He soon finds some ruins where they can take shelter. But the monsters start climbing the walls. Ri suggests they hit them and send them down, and Saika follows her advice. Shiru casts the blessings of the Almighty God on them, increasing their stats so that they do not have any trouble. He then decides to delay the battle as long as possible without killing any monster. So he creates some golems, using mud, that engage the monsters in battle safely. Shiru then turns around to see where Sage is at, and to his disappointment, he is still screaming because he needs anger to transform, but he does not have anything right now. Suddenly, he remembers the time an intern stepped on his shoe, and he channels that rage to transform without ripping off his clothes. He then runs downhill, and Shiru wonders, what the hell does he even have wings for? Sai then climbs on the ruins where the rest of his party is present, and Ri already gets a cringe attack on seeing his cringe actions. He introduces himself as a wandering adventurer named Hero Aldine, and then jumps down, taking the monsters out with his special powers. Seika is really impressed by him, but Ri is holding back the urge to puke on seeing his cringe actions. Meanwhile, Sai keeps fighting the small monsters, but when he comes face to face with a giant rock golem, he deactivates his power so that he can aura farm later by flying and using his other moves. With that, he wipes out all the monsters and soon vanishes before returning in his normal form again. Seika does not even doubt that C was Aldine, and she tells him all about how cool the hero was. He gets happy on hearing that and wants others to praise him as well. And now she wonders if it is really a good idea to turn this narcissistic idiot into a king. Soon they reach the city of Valyria, and it holds many surprises for them. The city square is vibrant and full of cheerful people, and at the center of the city, there is a big castle. However, the surprising thing is a job center that is right next to the castle, and Shiru has great sympathy for all the corporate slaves hanging around that place. After that, they return the creature that carried that luggage to the animal shed. But the guy tells Sage that they can't take the other animal with him. While Sharu would have tolerated most things, even he gets angry at being called an animal, and the man gets scared by his angry gaze. Just then, Seika finds an animal that looks just like Shiru, and even he is appalled by it. However, she finds it cute, but that is nothing worth talking about, because she finds everything cute. They explored the city after that, and Saka keeps getting distracted by every little thing. Shiru thinks that while this world looks peaceful and cheerful, there are too many problems for otherworlders like them. The biggest problem of all is that monsters do not drop money, and they need to find a source of steady income to live and grow properly. Shiru thinks that he can make things easy for everyone if he just uses his powers as the Almighty God. But he thinks that such a shallow method will harm the pure-hearted idiots of his party, and he needs to be more clever about it. At night, they stay in an inn, and C tells Shiru that he asked around the city and learned that they need to find a job in this world if they want to make money. Shiru is disappointed to hear that they need to hunt for a job even in another world, but then Sai gives him the details. He says that 2,000 Ra a month is considered a decent salary here. Shiru asks if there is no reward for defeating monsters like they did yesterday, and Sai replies that as long as they do not get a quest to hunt monsters, they will not be paid. Shiru then recalls that there were some high-paying jobs in the job center as well. He remembers a job posting about a detective's assistant that paid 10,000 Ras a month, and there was a trash clean-up job that offered 28,000 Ras per month. He tells Sai about those jobs, saying that they seem suspicious as no experience or qualifications were required to accept them. He can totally see Sika falling for those jobs and hopes to keep her away from them. Sai agrees with him, saying that decent jobs will only get them a normal life, but high-paying jobs are either sketchy or need too much experience. he suddenly gets an idea and asks Shairu what he thinks about going to the casino. Shairu is shocked to hear that even their hero is interested in gambling, but Sai tells him that he just wants to gather more information. He says that in the market, he only met ordinary people, making an ordinary amount of money, but in the casino, they should certainly find people who do unique jobs or make a ton of money. He claims that information is the best currency for people like them, and he plans to use it to create the best path that will let his party live without worrying about anything. Shairu likes his plan, and the next night, the entire party heads to a grand casino. Sika immediately tries out her luck on a game, and the waitress that comes to offer Shairu a refill of his drink gets grossed out by his appearance. The other customers in the casino are the same as well, but it does not bother him much. Luckily, Seiko wins her first ever game in the casino, and she is really excited about it. On the other hand, Sai talks to people to gather info and reuses her methods to find useful things separately. In the meantime, Seika decides to go all in on the next round on gambling, losing everything she earned in the first one. She plays a bit more, but then gets hungry, so she takes a break to have a burger. Shairu asks her how much money she spent, and she tells him that she spent around 20,000 ras, which is enough to make him lose his hair out of worry. Just then, the manager of the casino comes to Seika, saying that he noticed her play earlier and he was curious about her financial status. Seika confidently tells him that she is rich, and Shairu panics because he should have stopped her from saying that. The manager Kaja, on the other hand, is super delighted and starts buttering up Seika. He asks her if she can come to his office so that they can talk in privates, and she only accepts once Shairu is also allowed in Shashal as her bodyguard. Once in the office, a servant brings hot cocoa for Seika, and Shairu examines the room, thinking that the casino is raking money in. Suddenly, Georg starts glazing Seika, saying that he was truly impressed by her boldness to go all in without hesitation. He says that rich people should gamble just like that, and Seika is flattered by that. He then tells her that he was so impressed by her that he has a special offer for her. He reveals a golden extra stage pass that will make her a VIP at the casino and let her access even more thrilling games for their regular customers. He says that usually their enrollment fee and membership charges cost 20,000 ras, but for her, he will make an exception and reduce the fees to 0. Seika is tempted by the offer, but she says that she will have to pay the membership charges next year. Shairu is proud that she has finally started suspecting shady things, but Kaja is a smooth talker who is not done yet. He tells Seika that her membership fees will be waived off for her entire life because he really wants her to become a VIP. Seika asks him what is so special about her, and he replies that he was truly moved by her gambling style, and he wants to see her gamble even more now. Seika is tempted, and she asks Shairu what to do. He sees no harm in just getting a membership card, but suggests she talk to Sai first. Seika likes the idea as well, and Kaja tells her that she can talk to her friend, and if he is rich, he would like to talk to him as well. Seika tells him that C is rich, but not as rich as her, and Shairu worries about her future. Soon they leave the room, and Seika says that the manager was really nice. She at his sus. Then, Ri also comes there with a worried expression on her face. As Seika leaves to find Sage, Shairu stays behind to talk to Ri, who has troubling news about Kaja. She says that he is also a reincarnator like them, and in his special notes, he has written that he won't be fooled anymore and destroy all rich people. He swears to suck them dry and push them to the depths of hell. Henri is not sure that even Shairu could win against him at his games. Soon, the group returns to their inn, and Saka tells everyone about Kaja. They all agree that he sounds suspicious, and she is disappointed on hearing that. Sai asks Shairu's opinion on the manager, and he replies that he was really skilled at making people believe they are special and tricking them. He says that luckily Seika did not fall for his lies, but there must be other people who get tricked. After that, Sai decides to share his report. He says that he talked to a lot of people who took high-paying job offers from the job center. Surprisingly, all the jobs led them to the casino in the end, and no one passed the tests. He says that only the friend of a guy named Kai got the job as a detective's assistant, and his job was to find people who went on a spending spree in the casino. The story becomes even more worrying when C reveals that Kai's friend has been missing for some time now, and when he went to his home to talk to him, he found that his house had vanished and the plot was for sale. The guy's family registry had vanished as well, and the police did not even accept a missing person report, as if the guy never existed to begin with. Shairu is pretty sure that Kiriya must be behind it. He notices Ri looking like she is nervous about sharing some information, so he gestures that he will cover for her no matter what she says. Ri is relieved to hear this, and she hands Si an item that she found near the back gate of the casino. Both C and Shairu are horrified as they remove the cloth and see a human finger, and they somehow stop Seika from looking at the horrifying thing. Ri explains that she was looking around the back door when she saw a guy carrying something on his back and the finger fell from the luggage. She only realized what it was once she got close, and for a moment she questioned if she should retrieve the finger or chase after the guy. Sile tells her that she made the correct decision because it would be dangerous to go after the other guy alone. Now he is certain that the casino is doing something shady and says that they need to find out more about it. Seika immediately volunteers to go undercover since Kaja scouted her out. Both Ri and Shiru warn her that it is dangerous because rich people like her are the real targets. But she replies that she is really mad that Kaja betrayed and hurt other people. She says that he needs to be stopped at all costs, and Shiru turns towards C, asking him to stop her. However, Sai is even more fired up, causing him and Ri to lose their minds. Later, the two of them go outside to talk, and Shiru asks Ri about Kaja's skills because she said even the absolute god won't be able to beat him. She replies that she could not see everything, but one his skills was to see through all lies that probably triggers his other skills. However, his status window was really abnormal and it looked like it has been cut and pasted and deformed multiple times. She warns him to be careful, and Shiru realizes that he should not lie in front of Kaja, even as a joke. He then puts his robe around Ri, telling her that it will be alright. He talks about how they went to earn some money but ended up finding an evil person, and now they will stop him. Ri agrees, telling Shiru another detail about her special note. She wrote that if true evil appears before her, she will become the envoy of hell and drag them to darkness, and Shiru is taken back as she partially transforms. The next night, Seika dresses up fancy and walks like a model on her way to the casino, telling Shiru that it is necessary to put on an act if she wants to find the truth about Kaja. She believes that she will succeed because Shiru and Ri have trained her how to hide the truth without lying. Soon they reach the casino, and Kaja comes there to welcome them. He asks Seika if she has come up with an answer to his request, and she tells him that if he can show her a game that entertains her, she will become a member. He is glad to hear this and tells her to follow him along with his ugly guard, and Shiru thinks that he will let the manager act cocky before his evil deeds are exposed. Kaja then leads Seika and Shiru to the underground VIP area. Shiru knows about Kaja's ability to discover lies, so their best way to resist him is by giving him as little information as possible. They have only given him Seika's name to put on the VIP pass for starters, and Shiru wonders what else they can do beyond this point. Just then, Kaja asks Seika how much she is planning to spend today, suggesting that she might be planning to gamble 1,000,000 Raz. Seika asks him if he is underestimating her, and Kaja's mood suddenly sour. He then brings them to the VIP zone, and the atmosphere there is completely different from the normal casino. Seika likes the vibe of the place, and then Kaja introduces an employee who will show them around. The man named Kado first introduces himself, but he keeps on fumbling as he tries to explain how things work here. Shiru thinks that Kado is new, but he can't keep an eye on him for long. As Kaja approaches him, asking if he would like to gamble too, Shiru realizes that he is here to get some information from him. Since Seika is not sharing anything, he replies that he can't play because he has no money, and that is not a lie at all. Shiru then activates his skill dynamic vision that allows him to see everything that is going around the room while still talking to Kaja. He finds a spy noting details about everyone, like Seika, being a flashy young lady with a budget of over 1 ruo. Suddenly Kaja asks Shiru if he is strong, and he replies that he is. Kaukia then asks him if he is above level 70, and Shiru gives him a vague answer that hides his level while still not qualifying as a truth. Next, Kaja asks about his stats, and Shiru replies that he distributed his skill points without much thought, and there are a lot of zeros in his stats, like in magic defense. Well, that answer is not a lie either, because obviously there are many zeros in a trillion, but the spy thinks that Shiru did not distribute his skill points wisely. He writes down that he put his points in his warrior-like attributes, and magic defense is his weakness that they can use to crush him. Just then, an employee comes there to call Kaja to a customer who needs his help, and he immediately tells Seika that he needs to go. He asks her if she wants to see something interesting, like monster battles, and she tells him that she will think about it. Kaja leaves with that, leaving Kado in charge of her, and he is still fumbling because this is probably his first day at work. Just then, Kaja leads the client that called him, and Shiru is shocked to see another fat and ugly bastard who looks exactly like his boss from his previous life. He just hopes that this is not the same guy when his eyes go to Kaja's notepad in which he has written a liberation plan. Meanwhile, Seika is throwing tantrums and intimidating Kado, asking him to take her to the most fun game. Shiru is glad that she understands her role very well, which is to throw tantrums and stay here for as long as she can, without spending too much money. In the meantime, he pretends to have a stomachache and asks Kakolo where the washroom is. He decides to escort him, but Seika holds him back, telling him that he should pay more attention to the customers. Shiru uses this chance to explore the casino on his own. He first drains the energy from a guard to knock him out, and then uses his skills to turn into a bat. He begins looking around for Kaja, and finds him entering a secret room. He quickly infiltrates the room and then uses another skill to open a portal between him and the room where Seika is, so that he can go to her location immediately if she needs his help. Seeing that she is doing well, Shiru turns his attention to the strange statue on the other side of the room. Kaja walks to the statue and begins talking to his parents, telling them that everything is going according to the plan. He remembers that they taught him there is something more important than money in the world. They were never rich, but his parents taught him to enjoy a life of honesty. However, that honesty took their life when they refused to evict their house for a big corporation to build their project over their home. As a result, the corporation crushed a truck into their home, killing them both, and Kaja was completely changed after that incident. He became an assassin and devoted his life to hunting down the bastards responsible for his parents' death. Once his life's mission was over, he decided to unalive himself as well. But just then, he got the chance to come to this world, and he felt that it was his parents who sent it to him. In this world too, he saw the rich trampling on the poor, and made it his mission to give them pain that would free them from their earthly desires. He asks his parents to keep watching him, and Shu realizes that he has no other reason to live than to get revenge on rich people. Just then, Kado and another employee come there, telling Kaja that Seika is throwing tantrums and saying that she wants to leave because there is nothing interesting here. Kaja scoffs and tells them that she must be scared by the high exchange rates, and tells them to use strategy number 13 to lure her in. Both the employees agree and begin heading back. But Kaja stops the second one because he detects a lie in his answer. His skill activates because of that, and he saps out all the life force from the guy, turning him into a dead husk. He then calls one of his henchmen to dispose of the garbage, and then turns to Kado, asking if he gets what he is supposed to do. Ko nervously replies that strategy number 13 means they let Seika win today so that she gets hooked, and Kaja praises him, saying that he likes honest guys like him who know what to do. Kado nervously leaves the room with that, but thanks to this interaction, Shiru has found out more about how Kaja's power works. Anyway, He returns to Seika, who keeps winning according to Kaja's strategy. However, Shairu can't pay any attention to that because he is still feeling odd because of seeing a person die in front of him. Suddenly, Seika tells him to pay more attention to her because she has won 6 times in a row. Shairu asks her how much money she has won till now, and she tells him that she has won Songras. Kado and the dealer are getting nervous now because Suga bets all the money she earns in the next round, and Kato tells her that she does not need to go all in every time. However, Seiko replies that it is her playing style, unaware that the casino has to let her win on purpose in order to keep her hooked. Kao can't take the risk of bankrupting their casino, so he immediately leaves to report to Kaja, while Shairu gets lost in his thoughts again. This time he thinks about how his rule of getting the 1,000th part of his actual income does not apply to casino chips, because that is not money. Just then Kaja comes there, congratulating Seika for her wins. Shairu notices Kado's swollen face as Kaja tells Seika that talented gamblers like her should play an even better and more exciting game. Seika is curious, and Kaja tells her that he will now take her to the Colosseum, which is even more exclusive than the VIP stage. She decides to follow him, and they go even deeper down the building and enter an underground arena where a lot of magic beasts are kept in prisons. Kaja tells Seika that Monster Battle is the ultimate game, his casino presence, and she can bet money on monsters who will fight to death on her behalf. Seika is already worried on hearing the description, and then the roar of a monster scares her. Kaokia calms the beast, and Shairu asks him, where did he get that monster, because he has never seen it in the wild. Kaja replies that these are special monsters created at the casino, and Shairu is shocked to hear that. Kaja then asks Seika if she is interested, but she is quite anxious right now, and Shairu decides it is time to go home. He gives her the clue by mentioning Sage and how he would love to see these monsters. Seika gets the clue and tells Kaja that she would like to head home today and tell C about the exciting games here. Kaja can't stop her, and he asks Kado to escort her outside. In the elevator, Seika notices Kado's swollen cheek, and she uses her healing magic to treat him. Kado suddenly switches sides on seeing his kindness, and he tells Seiya to run away and never return to the casino because Kaja is after her life. Gave Tati Ruberacia or Pensa. He tells her that many rich people and even many of his colleagues have died at his hand, and even he is scared of losing his life at any moment. Shairu asks him to come with them, but Kato can't escape because Keija has all the information about him. He tells them to go outside and spread the truth about the casino so that one day a hero can come to destroy it. Well, his wish is instantly granted, as Sia, also known as Hiro Aldin, comes there along with Ri. Seika is surprised to see them together, and the mortified Ri says that they met each other when they were both trying to infiltrate the building. Kaokiedo is moved to tears on seeing that a hero really came, and C comforts him before deciding to deal with the casino manager. Shu volunteers to come with him, and Sei retracts his wings to fit inside the elevator. Kado comes along too, telling them about Kaja's skill to absorb the life and skills of the people who lie to him. Once they get to the VIP floor, Kaokido yells at the customers to get out, because the monsters in the basement are free and they may attack them. The customers panic and try to run away with the employees, not knowing how to handle the situation. Kado then leads C and Shu to the basement, but another employee takes the only elevator they have and goes down first to warn Kaja. As Kato panics because now they do not have any way to go down, Seika arrives there in her angel form. C gets startled on seeing her because he has never seen her in her alien form before. He asks her who the hell is she, and Saka asks Shairu to keep her identity a secret. She introduces herself as El Caron, the Maiden of the Sun, and says that she can use healing magic and help them in the battle. CE is glad to have her on the team, and Shairu thinks both of them are operating on the same wavelength. However, it is not 2 Dulu cosplayers that he has to deal with, but 3. Just then, Ri comes there transformed into a devil, and Shairu takes a moment to realize her true identity. However, just as he is about to ask her to confirm, Ri hits him with a weapon she materializes out of thin air because she does not want her brother to know her identity. Well, Sai is more interested in her weapon anyway, and Ri says that she has the ability to create weapons using her imagination. That is enough to impress Seika and C. And the flattered Ri gives everyone some weapons to use. Just then, the elevator returns and the party gets inside. Kadal wants to come with them too, but Sai asks him to evacuate. Shairu takes a more tactful approach, telling him to gather evidence of the casino's wrongdoings so that they can expose its connection with the government office that allowed it to grow so powerful. Kado takes on that mission, and Shairu's party heads down to the basement. Shiru tells everyone to be careful and asks them to leave Kaja to him. He knows that Kaja is a truly evil person with no chance to change. And that is why he does not want innocent people like C and Seika to face him. With that, they arrive at the basement, and turns out that Kaja has already drained the life of the employee, who came to inform him about the situation. But that is where this video ends. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.